Have you ever felt the whole world hold its breath at once? Stay right here, because today we are going back to May of 1888, when a young man sitting at a desk in San Francisco wrote 13 stanzas of pure American magic and tossed them out into the world without a second thought. He accidentally created the most beloved baseball poem in history, and by the end of this video, you will never look at a strikeout the same way again. It is May 1888. And a 24-year-old named Ernest Lawrence Thayer is sitting at his desk at the San Francisco Examiner. Ernest is a Harvard man, a philosophy major, a friend of the young and ambitious newspaper publisher William Randolph Hearst. He writes humor columns for the Sunday paper under the pen name Finn, and he is paid $5 per column. Nobody's going to remember most of what Ernest Thayer wrote this year. He knows this. He does not mind. He is a journalist, not a poet, and the words come and go like the morning fog off the bay. But something is different on this particular afternoon in May. Ernest is thinking about baseball, about the roar of a crowd leaning forward together, about a hero who is absolutely certain he cannot fail. And in one sitting, with a grin and a shrug, Ernest Lawrence Thayer writes the 13 stanzas that will outlive him by more than a century. He signs it Finn. He sends it to the paper. He thinks nothing more of it. On June 3, 1888, Casey at the Bat, a ballad of the Republic, sung in the year 1888, appeared in print for the very first time. The world does not notice. A few people read it. A few people chuckle. Nobody clips it out and frames it. Nobody writes letters to the editor calling it a masterpiece. The poem almost disappears entirely because one man, a New York writer named Archibald Gunter, happens to read it that morning. He laughs out loud. He carefully tears the poem from the page, folds it, and slides it into his wallet. He has no particular reason for doing this. He just loves it too much to let it go. Weeks pass. Then, one afternoon in August, Archibald Gunter reads something in the paper that makes him reach for his wallet. A notice in the theater listings announces that his friend, the popular comedian and actor DeWolf Hopper, will be performing at Wallack's Theater on the 14th. And most importantly, the New York Giants and the Chicago White Stockings baseball clubs will be in the audience. Gunter tracks down Hopper before the show. He pulls the worn newspaper clipping from his wallet and presses it into his friend's hand. "Read this tonight," he says. "Trust me." Hopper reads it backstage. He reads it again. He memorizes it in the hour before the curtain. That night, in the middle of the performance, DeWolf Hopper steps to the front of the stage. He sets aside the script. He looks out at a theater full of people, including 2 rows of professional baseball players who are not quite sure what is happening. And then, with the full force of his great booming voice, he begins. The outlook wasn't brilliant for the Mudville 9 that day. For 5 minutes and 40 seconds, not one person in Wallack's Theater makes a sound. The poem builds like a storm. The Mudville crowd is cheering Casey to the plate. Casey stepped in with that magnificent sneer, the first strike, the second strike. And then, with the full weight of 5,000 imaginary fans behind him, DeWolf Hopper delivers the final blow. But there is no joy in Mudville. Mighty Casey has struck out. The New York World reports the next morning that men rose to their seats and cheered. It is, the paper says, one of the wildest scenes ever witnessed inside a New York theater. By a remarkable coincidence, August 14, 1888, is also Ernest Lawrence Thayer's 25th birthday. He is not in the room. He has no idea any of this is happening. DeWolf Hopper goes on to perform Casey at the Bat an estimated 10,000 times over the next 47 years. He performs it on stages, on the radio, and even in one of the earliest sound films ever recorded. And for years, almost nobody knew who wrote it. When Hopper finally tracks down Thayer in Worcester, Massachusetts, and they meet for the first time, Thayer's friends insist that the poet stand up and perform his own masterpiece. Thayer obliges. It is, by all accounts, one of the worst performances anyone has ever heard. Hopper later writes, with great affection, that Thayer recited the poem with all the drama and fire of And this is a real quote, "A caterpillar wearing rubbers, crawling on a velvet carpet." Thayer himself dismisses the whole thing. He calls the poem nonsense. He calls it a mere bit of verse. He seems genuinely puzzled that anyone still cares about it. He retires quietly, manages his family's woolen mills, and spends his later years writing philosophical essays that almost no one reads. But the poem lives on without him. It becomes a Walt Disney animated short. It becomes a silent film. It becomes an opera. It becomes a phrase that every American knows without ever having to be taught it. No joy in Mudville. And on every baseball diamond in this country, in every bottom of every ninth inning, when a hometown hero steps up to the plate and the crowd holds its breath, together, Ernest Thayer is still there. Still grinning, still waiting to see what happens. Here is what I love about this story. Ernest Thayer wrote his greatest gift to America in May of 1888 without knowing it was a gift at all. He just sat down and told the truth about something everyone already felt. The hope, the pride, the heartbreak of watching your hero swing and miss. That is what great stories do. They say out loud what everyone is already carrying around inside them. And here's something I want to ask you today. What are you carrying around inside you right now? Because you have stories just like this one, stories that only you can tell. The family moments were funny, heartbreaking, and surprising all at once. The people who shaped you, who cheered for you from the bleachers, who were there when you struck out and loved you anyway. Those stories are not small things. They are the poems your family will be quoting long after you are gone. If you have ever thought about writing your family's legacy stories but just did not know where to begin, today is the day to start. Right below this video, completely free, is our family story writing guide. Your family's Casey at the bat is waiting to be written. And trust me, it is worth far more than $5 a column. And if today's story brought a smile to your face, please hit subscribe and come join the History Sparks family. Every single day, we bring you a story just like this one that reminds you history is not distant and dusty. It is alive, it is funny, it is heartbreaking, and it belongs to all of us. We will see you right back here tomorrow.